Hey guys, Dave with Moniology here. Hope everyone is having a great day. Today's November 29th, 2017, and I thought it would be right about time to do a blockchain and AI watch list. We've been following this sector for a while. We've owned a number of names and they've done exceptionally well. And a lot of folks have been asking us about various names we're looking at, invested in, and so we put something like this together, and we wanted to do a video to kind of go through our entire chart list to give you some ideas and hopefully educate you and help you get some good opportunities, at the same time help you avoid some potentially massive losses. Bottom line is blockchain is here to stay. From our perspective, it's kind of like the internet was in the early 90s as far as technology goes. But we would not touch Bitcoin and Ethereum with a 10-foot pole at this point, because there's no way to value it. It could go up another $10,000 and it could drop another $9,000 in the case of Bitcoin. So we just have no idea. But there are a lot of great companies, not great companies, but companies that are invested in this technology, and you can chart it, and you can certainly do your due diligence on these. And that's where I think the real money can be made, and we certainly made a lot of it this week and last. So without further ado, let's take a look at our watch list and see what we can glean from it. Okay, so in no particular order, well actually this is alphabetical order, but not necessarily in any rank beside that. We'll start with BTSC, which is Bitcoin Services Inc. This one, you can see the rise that it's had over the last couple of years. It's been basing, had an initial base between 0.02 cents and about 7 cents. Then from there it had a base from 7 cents to about 20 cents for the last, basically last 6 to 12 months. We finally broke out of it over the last couple of days, and we rallied all the way up to a high of basically 64. So a massive move from a low of 0.0012 all the way to a high of 42 and 64. Now we're at about 42 cents. Massive volume. This is the highest volume it's had on a weekly basis, and there might be some consolidation. So would I be chasing here? No. I mean, the only way I buy this at this point is if it breaks the 65 point, but until then I expect to see potentially some consolidation here. And but again, this is an interesting one to add for a long-term play. Taking a look at Digital Power Corp, DPW. This is one that was basing basically since middle of 2016 between 50 cents and $1. We finally broke higher this week and rallied from all the way to 350. It was a massive move. It's still up 101%, but now we're back down to 163. And if we close below 175 on the week, I expect to see some consolidation, potentially all the way down to $1. But ultimately, this is going higher from a long-term charting perspective. There's a lot of upside potential here, but you don't want to be putting all your eggs in this basket at these prices. You might nibble here a little bit. If it goes down, add a little bit more here, and if it bounces successfully, add more upon the bounce. But I wouldn't be necessarily chasing these at this point in time. Taking a look at Global Arena Holding Inc. Let me just adjust the name here. Global Arena Holding. So Global Arena. This is one that's a very interesting chart because it hasn't really rallied as much as some of the other names have. Now, granted, from 0.007 all the way to 0.074 cents, that's a big move. It's consolidated down in this kind of bullish flag formation, and now it's trading at 0.0184 cents. So this is a super penny stock. But look at the MACDs; they're starting to curl towards zero. And it's got this bullish flag pattern, and it's attacking this trend line, downtrend, with very strong volume. If we break this, expect this to make a run towards 5 and perhaps consolidate a little bit longer, and ultimately we think this is going to break higher, make a run at least towards that 0.074 cents, possibly higher. So this has a lot of upside just from a technical standpoint. From this chart list, this is one of our favorite looking charts in terms of risk reward. Glance Technologies, GLNNF. I mean, look at this move from 11 cents all the way to 325. High this week, 320. This is massive. So question becomes, what does it do at this point? Does it break higher as it continues moving up this trend line, or does it break below it? Ultimately, it's still in an uptrend from our perspective, so long as it's above this middle weekly Bollinger Band. And frankly, because we're not invested in this, we'd love to see some consolidation for us to be able to add. But the volume is very high here, and it's one of these names that for the long run it could be a very, very strong uptrend. High Blockchain Technologies, PRELF, another one of these over-the-counter names. Don't know what happened here. I just can't believe, without doing much due diligence, that it went from 12.5 cents all the way to 5.25 in better part of a couple of months. But if you were long here and you haven't sold, you're a millionaire. Even if you put like $1,000. But anyway, it broke out of this 1250 zone and hit a high of 5.25 last week. It's consolidating above that $2 mark. If it can hold the 60 level on the RSI, expect that 5.25 level to be retested. If it can't, potentially a move towards that middle Bollinger Band around about 135 area is a possible target. I would love to see it consolidate even further. Possibly fill this gap. If it does that, that would be a great opportunity to add. The MACDs are now below zero, so this might take a couple weeks to consolidate before resuming an upward direction, if that's the way it goes. In Pixon, this is an AI play. This is one that we own and we continually add. It's one of our favorite looking charts, and it's just one of these bottoming reversal followed by, it's kind of like a cup and handle here, and it's above the weekly Bollinger Band, and it's, when you look at the daily and the hourly chart, there's just so many positive things going on with this chart. The volume's starting to creep up here, and the RSI is starting to develop a secondary base above this initial breakout zone around 30. So bottom line is, the first target here is around 62.50, followed by 125, followed by 250. I think 62.50 is very reasonable, possibly as high as this week. If there's any actual news release, expect this to really fly. There's a gap fill around that 125 area, and a downtrend line that could be tested around this 250. But why do we like this, aside from price action, aside from RSI? The MACDs are basically making a run towards their 3-year highs. It's a very, very bullish development in charting, using our methodology. And ultimately, if you do some due diligence on this company, you'll see that they're kind of turning things around. And if they land another couple of contracts, things can really fly. Look at how high things were back in the day. I'm sure they did a number of stock splits, and we're never getting to this 135 zone. But nonetheless, a lot of upside, a lot of potential. AI is definitely hot. Marathon Patent Group, MARA, is one that we owned. We bought it around here, I would say, around that 220 mark several months ago, and it just kept falling. Around this point in time, they bought this blockchain technology, fell all the way down to $1, and then all of a sudden blockchain becomes the new fad, and boom, takes off. Now, unfortunately for us, we sold around that 450 area because our cost basis was around 220. So we had a really nice 100% move, but we missed out on this massive move towards 10. Even in pre-market, one of these days, it was at 16 high. Now it's pulling back, which we love to see. And let's see how we consolidate. I want to see some consolidation either right above an upward sloping 50-week moving average, or potentially right below but above this upward sloping Bollinger Band. If it can hold, that will be very, very positive development for future price gains and a confirmation this is indeed a new bullish uptrend. MGT Capital Investments, ticker MGTI, is another one of those blockchain companies that just, the chart looks good. It made a massive rally, kind of a double top here. Now it's consolidating in this bullish flag formation and broke out higher. It's got rejected this week after tagging that 200 EMA around $3. But this is one that as the MACDs start curling above 0, this one can really move. I mean, this is our first long-term price target would be about the 558 area, and ultimately this can go much, much higher. And just a very, very nice, beautiful chart. TEUM Corp, TEUM. This is another one of our favorite charts. As the MACDs start curling back above 0, look at the massive volume this week. RSI looks to be poised to break above 50, and it's above the middle Bollinger Band. So these are all recipes for a very, very strong move to the upside, and it's right below the 50-week moving average. If it can break above that, that's really your trigger that the next price target is 250, followed by a move towards 5. Definitely in the cards. Taking a look at RIOT BlockChain, RIOT. Look at this beautiful basing pattern since 2015. Just had a very beautiful base, finally broke out above $4, and boom, that was really your sign to be buying here. Once you broke out here on increased volume, and then we really rallied. Then we consolidated here, we retested this breakout point successfully, and that's when a lot of institutions start buying and major accumulation started happening here. Look at the volume. So successful retests are some of the best. From our perspective, there are 2 times you ought to be buying: after a basing pattern breakout and after a successful retest. From our perspective, chasing just is a bad idea. I mean, imagine if you bought here thinking it's going higher. All of a sudden, if you don't have a stop loss, you're down 50%. So again, now it's a potential successful retest again. I think this might even go down as low as 10, possibly 8. Wash out a lot of weak cans, but ultimately I think this is going much higher. A couple more on this list. 7 Stars Cloud Group, SSC. Another one with a very, very nice chart pattern, sidestepping higher here, building a base, higher highs and higher lows on RSI, and we broke through the 200. Couldn't hold it yet, but this is okay. This is the first attempt to break higher on very strong volume, rising MACDs, and now some accumulation. This can go far, and you wouldn't be surprised to see a price in the 7s in the not too distant future. Single point. This is one that we own. We've been buying a lot of this over the last couple of weeks as we saw the momentum being built and as we were holding that 50 zone on RSI. And this is a beautiful bullish flag here, consolidation pattern. We finally broke out of that, and then boom, massive volume. I mean, look, 135 million shares traded this week alone. MACDs have curled back above 0, and this can go much, much higher. I mean, you look at one of the first ones that we looked at, one of the Bitcoin plays that goes from a couple cents to a couple dollars. This is one that can really do that. This is a cannabis as well as a Bitcoin play, and those are 2 of the hottest speculative sectors in the market. Social Reality, SRAX, another beautiful chart here that's been rallying from the lows in the $1 range all the way to $8 here basically this week. I'd like to see some consolidation above or below this 200 EMA around $5. If it can successfully hold, you want to see the 50 continue to rise higher, hopefully cross above the 200. But look at this volume. This is a sign that this is a new trend that's taking place, and $8 will be broken to the upside. I'm reasonably confident on that. And once that's broken, I mean, there's tremendous upside. $11 all the way up to $20. I can see this going to in the coming 12 months. A couple more. U.S. global investors grow. This is another one that was basing for basically 2 years between $1 and $2.50. Finally broke above that, and boom, had the massive run. Then we successfully retested, had support at the 250 zone, support at the 200 week moving average, and that's when a lot of folks started really buying. Look at the volume right over here. So that's when you could have bought at initially bought around 150. Bought around 2, and then a successful retest here at 250 that's when we moved from 250 all the way to 5, all the way to 7 really. But that was a very strong move and very, very constructive chart. Veritone is another AI play, kind of like INPX. Beautiful looking downtrend that looks to be ready to be broken out of right below the 50 on the weekly RSI. Volume is looking very strong, and so if this breaks, this can move as high as 75. That's a massive upside potential on this particular name, but as you've seen, nothing is impossible in the AI and the Bitcoin space, or the blockchain space. Bottom line, guys, a lot of potential, but a lot of risk. So make sure you do due diligence, know your strategies, know your time frames, know what your risk tolerance is, and make sure you size accordingly. Don't put $10,000-$20,000 in one name and watch it go to 2,000. But make sure that you're not investing more than 5 to 10% of your capital in any position. In fact, that's probably way too high. But again, know your strategy, and good luck. So would love to hear your feedback, and if you can reshare and repost this particular video, would be much appreciated. Follow us on StockTwits and Twitter at Moniology. And if you appreciate the work that we do, please send us a token of your appreciation through Patreon, $10, or Venmo. Both links will be up there in the YouTube show notes, and that'll be all. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.